Hi, so let's review what we did in previous video. So we stop at right here. We got the error after we create the navbar. So let's review what we did. And here is all the folders and the files that we create. Let's review it one more time before we continue to the next step. So we create the folder components, we create a folder adventures, folder banner, folder booking, folder contact, folder explore, folder footer, folder gallery, folder home, folder navbar, folder search, and here's the apps.js file that we create in previous video. And here's index file. Here's index file .html, index.html. And in each folder we create a file adventures.js with capital A, banner.js, booking.js, contact.js, explore.js, footer.js, gallery.js, home.js, navbar.js, search.js. So all the JS folders now empty. That's why we have the error. The error message say you likely forgot to export your component from the file. So let's create all the component for the file. So let's go to adventure and we create the class for it. You can create the class or the function, but here I refer to create the class RCC and save it. Same for the banner. So class banner, save it. Booking as RCC and save it. Contact RCC, explore RCC, footer, gallery, home, and then navbar we already have, and search. Let's see, the error is still here. Let's refresh it. Now we have all the Navbar item. You see here still doesn't work, so let's add some library to the footer. Let's do the normal way, similar we do for a regular template using HTML. We should call the library for it. So we have to import the library. Distribute, and we need to import the material.js. Materialize CSS, and then distribute folder, then materialize JS. Okay, let's save it, and let's see. jQuery not found. So here let's create another tab for command. So we need to install the jQuery library, npm install jQuery. Now it's install jQuery library. So you see here I have two terminals. One is running for the server and one is installing the jQuery library. So you should create one more tab, add one more tab, so that we can have two tasks at the same time. So the jQuery library already installed, and let's go back to the start. Let's see. So let's Control C and rerun it. Let's try it again. So you see now it's set. After we install jQuery, and let's have a look at the mobile menu. When you click on this one, you will see all the menu here. See that? All the menu for my mobile version. Okay. So now let's continue. But we need to create the banner. The next section is the banner. Slideshow banner or carousel banner. So let's create a banner for this. So before we do that, let's import the CSS library. So import so we do the same for all the file. Realize CSS materialize that mean that CSS So you can see, as you can see in the final product, we have 3 images. The first one, the title, description and button. The second one and the third one the same, title, description and button. Now we create the image folder inside the source folder. So right click, new folder, image, and then we need to add all the photo or the image into the image folder. For free image without license, you can go to pesos.com and you search for any picture you want, like nature, and you can download it. It's free to use for your website. You can find any picture you want here. I already downloaded some pictures, so now I need to add into that folder. Let me copy from, so let's open this folder on your desktop. Let's open AirPnP folder and go to src folder and go to image folder and then paste on the banner that you just download from pesos.com. Paste. Okay, and upload this one, and now you see all the banner display here, banner that you should download from the pesos.com. Okay, we need to import this image. So first we need to import, and we make the name. You can make any name you want, like img1 from image folder and banner. Nice. See the file, you have to name the file. You call the file banner nice.jpg. You can type again, or you can copy this one again by pressing Shift, Option, and arrow down. 1, 2. So banner 2. Image 2, image 3, and this change the banner to banner 6. Wrong name, banner 7. Save it, and here we need to use slider from the library. If you use the carousel from library, you can go back to materialize.css.com go to JavaScript and then click on carousel. They have all the slide or style you want. You just call the library. It's still loading because a little bit slow. So here you need to initialize for the library to work. Initialize. You can use with jQuery or the JavaScript. And all the documentation here you can read through. But in my template, I refer this style. You see that this style you have 1, 2, 3. You can use this style, or you can follow me to do your own slider similar the way I do. So let's go to band file, and here we need to create a section instead of div. Let's change that one into section. And inside that section we call the class slider, class name, class with capital N for name, equal slider ID equal home. This for navigation. When you click and it will like navigate back to the home section. And below that we define the UL. And here we define class li, the item li, sorry, class slice with s, okay. And let's define this one. Here we see you see the warning, compile with warning, because when we define this image we haven't used it. Say image 1 is defined but never used, image 2 is defined but never used, image 3 is defined but never used. So after we use it, all the warning will disappear. So let's create the first image slider. So here we need to call img1, and then you can add the alt text for this picture, like vacation or whatever name you want. And here we create another div inside it for this. And we define the class for that. Caption, center line, and here's the title in the banner, the big title. You see, here's the big title for the banner. The big title, book your trip. So we define that one as S2. pick your destination, and below that is the description. Let's use H5. Light. Here you can see I call the class name for the text, the color. Scroll down, you can see you can use like light, deep, purple, red, or whatever. Yeah, you can use it. So here I use ray text. So you have to define ray dash text, and if you want like the text to be dark, just ray dash text and then space and darken dash 1. Okay, follow that format. So here I use light and ray text lighten 3, the small lighter, and this very high on small only. And this one is the sample text for that. Lorem ipsum again, and here's the link to class name. So here the button below, or below the title and description, ETN, and the color for the button purple, and you can name the button is learn more. So here you see fail to compile because we need to define import the library for that, the link. So let's import the library. Link from React Router DOM. Remember we installed this library last time in previous video. Save it, you will see no more error. And now we copy this over to 2 more, copy the li to C, command C, 1, 2. So we have 3 slider, and we rename it. Book your trip. Learn more, stay the same. You can change the alt text to budget, and the third one, relax. Save it, and you need to rename this image to. Now you see all the one is go away and successful compile. Okay. So let's open this one. You see now because we need to add the JavaScript initial. We need to add the JavaScript at the footer. See that's carousel. You need to initialize this one library for that. Go back to the index.html and you paste the library and just make a note. Save it. After you save it, you see the banner display here. So you see the button is a little bit close to the description. So let's add some style for it. So let's go back to that file, banner, and we need to create the CSS for that. So I recommend you to create the CSS file for each folder section, each component, so it's easy for us to manage. So let's go back to the banner, right click, create a file, banner-css, and here you just define the class for that slider. So you see class slider, and then below that is we want to separate the button, right? So we need to call the class button, class button for that. Here the class button, other button. So btn margin top 20 pixel. You see it doesn't show because we need to call that CSS file inside the JS file. So go back to banner.js and call that CSS file. So import banner CSS, right? So we need to import that one and save it, and you see the buttons jump down now. Let's refresh it. The first one. Second one. Okay, so you see now all this one is center. So if you want like define left, center and right, similar my demo, you can do it. see my demo. Left, right, and center. Okay, let's define it. So the first one, we go back to here. Caption center align. See that? And here center align because we copy all of them over, so it's look the same. So here we need to change this one to left, and this one to right align, line dash align, and left dash align, and save it. How about it? Let's see. Center, left, right. Yes. So next, after the banner, we need to create a search section. You see that? Search section with some data, so sample data. So when I hit, for example, C, it will suggest the places. It's just sample data. But if you in the future, when you build a real project, this data come from the API. We calling from API instead of like hard code the data file. Okay. So now continue for the search section. Okay, let's click on the search and click on search.js file. We already defined the class for it. So here the same. We have to use the section. So let's change the div to the section. You can use div, but I prefer section here. Now we have to call the ID so that we can use it in the future for navigate through all the sections in our website, on our website. Search, class name, and name it section search, and this one will be blue background, accent to all the class you can find in the color library that I show you here. Color library, darken or accent, blue background, accent 2, and white text, and center. Goes by. Okay, and inside the section we create another div. Class name is container. Inside the container, clip rows, and this one we use column. Add 12, and here we use input field for that. So one more div. Input field, everything here I get from library, so you can go to library, you will see all the sample for that. White ray text, white background, ray text, and auto complete. Right. And you can add placeholder for it. Places, hotels, okay. Close it, self close. You can here you can say try equal text, study equal. This we use for suggestion later on, so auto complete. Autocomplete input dash input, save it. Run this one and you see the search session here. So you see this a little bit close, and here is bigger, here is smaller, so we need to add style folder for it. So let's go back to serve folder, create CSS file to control that style for that section only. Serve .css, right? And now we define the class because we already create. Let me close the banner because we done that. You see that the search session search class and input field. We need to move this down so that this area and this area equal, right? So let's go here, class session search and import padding to add important. Right. A margin 15 pixel, 0 important, and font size for it 18 pixel. Border F4, 3 pixel, solid, important. Save it. You won't see anything because you have to call this CSS file inside the search.js. So let's go to the top. Call it. But we also need to import the materialized CSS library. So import and import that CSS custom CSS folder, CSS file. save it. Let's have a look. You see now it's equal these two sessions, and it's nothing now because we haven't add the data for it. So let's add the data. Go back to the index.html and we need to add the data. Search data and pay this one. See that? Save it. So here for the carousel session, document, slider. Please copy exactly this. You can refer any data you want. You can change different name you want, and you save it. Okay, and now let's go back to the search and let's try. Okay, here you have like Cuba, right? Just type Q, see? Still not. So let's go here, let's remove this one. So carousel, below carousel section, this is search data section. Okay, and go back to here, you will see just type C or H, it will auto suggest whatever relate. So we done the search session. Next session we will continue to build is the explore session with 4 white session: hotels, restaurant, coffee, and shopping. See you.